Hello and welcome back to another news video for Final Fantasy XIV with me, Meoni. Today we're looking at the upcoming patch 7.25, which of course includes Shades Triangle, Hilderbrand, as well as the Mamulja Allied Society quests as well. And all of this stuff has been updated with new visuals and a bit of a write-up on the special site for patch 7.2. So here we are on the special site once again. If we click on the challenges section, you'll notice that there's some new light-up areas. You'll scroll down and you'll find the Occult Crescent South Horn. That's the name of the Occult Crescent's first part. South Horn, presumably the other will be the North Horn, I'm not sure. It says, betwixt Eorzea and Tural lies Shades Triangle, a wave-washed grave to untold souls. Join one legendary explorer and his intrepid crew as they chart a course for these fearsome waters and unravel the mystery that swirls therein. There's a lot to take in. Obviously, we've got Ketanram featuring heavily in this storyline. We've seen a couple of these images before. We've seen this from the live letter, where the Shades Triangle is essentially the Bermuda Triangle in the Final Fantasy world. That's basically what we're getting to here. So it's a place full of, ship graveyards, places where civilizations crossed the ocean and got lost. All different kinds of civilizations. We have very different architectures within this. We've seen Nemean architecture. We've seen Marquia architecture in the form of these pyramids. We've seen all manner of different peoples have been lost to this place. And yeah, it's kind of like the Land Before Time as well. We've got brachiosaurs. It looks fun. It looks really fun. As we go through here, again, more Nemean architecture in the background there, and you might recognize some other bits and some creatures. It is just an amalgamation of things that got lost, and I'm excited to see all of these different, ancient cultures collide and what exactly happened here. And there's hopefully a rich storyline as well. But this content is very similar to Zadnor or Eureka. It is your field instance content, so if you've waited a long time for this, like I have, you'll be happy. This then is a screenshot of inside the Forked Tower, which is a new large-scale raid. There is supposed to be 2 of these, so we get 2 field instances over the course of this expansion. We've got the South Horn and then presumably, the North Horn. Both of those instances, field instances, have their own large-scale dungeon within them, and this is the first one, which is called the Forked Tower. It is going to be interesting. We obviously have some critical engagements here and other things. We've got some really nice pictures on this of limited jobs. Well, not limited jobs, the phantom jobs, right? So we have the Cannoneer, look. Holy moly. So obviously we've got our own, similar to like Logos actions and things that we've seen before. The gimmick this time around is the phantom job system, where effectively you can pick from an array of new jobs that are added specifically only to be used in this content. One of them is Samurai. We have things like Geomancer. We have Cannoneer, which is amazing. You're just summoning a cannon and blasting the boss. That is great. We've got, paladins and things going on here. All sorts of awesome spell effects. See if you can pick out some of the ones from this. There's the samurai over in the back there. It's great. But the biggest thing to me is I'm just going to shoot the boss in the face with a cannon, because why not? Hopefully, though, this is a test bed to see what sort of jobs work in the game. And it has been the case with the past, and Yoshi P has mentioned on the previous live letters that their intent with this is to give players access to jobs that they've been requesting over the years that just maybe wouldn't make it, or at least they don't believe that would suit the full version of the game. And this is kind of like their test bed, as well as a piece of content that's going to be fun, but a test bed to see what works, throw job ideas at the wall and see what sticks, what people gravitate towards, and hopefully it gives them some good ideas for future class and job design in Final Fantasy XIV. And my hope is that stuff like Cannoneer could actually be a full job. I mean, it's a bit of a gimmick, but he's just like, fire! And then the cannon fires. It's great. And obviously we've got this Mind Flayer type character here that we're fighting against in the background of all of these different amalgamations of architecture. It's going to be fun. I can't wait. This next scene then looks like an interior shot. I'm not sure if this is from the Forked Tower or if this is from an outdoors area. Maybe this doesn't have a roof or something. It looks very inside a dungeon, doesn't it? Inside a special engagement. We've got obviously this unicorn here that's being summoned. I'm not sure what all of the jobs are immediately. I'm sure I'm going to look back at this and go, well, Meoni, that's such and such. But yeah, you'll be able to do a variety of really visually appealing things that you might be familiar with. Some of the jobs that they're going to be revisiting in this content from older Final Fantasy games. And it's going to be a good nostalgia trip for those who remember, but also kind of wild for people who are new to Final Fantasy, and this is their first one, you know, their MMO is the first one. Cool little boss. I have no recollection of what that is. It probably is something I've seen before. I cannot remember, but it's probably very pixelated in the original. These things look terrifying. And then, of course, we've got our look at the Phantom job system itself. As you can see here, the character has chosen Phantom Time Mage. This is something people have requested for a long time, Time Mage. The closest thing we kind of have to that in the game that isn't really is Astrologian. And anytime that people go, what are the top 5 jobs that we would like to see added to the game? Time Mage is probably up there along with Geomancer and a few other bits. You're probably screaming that right now. As you can see here, Phantom Time Mage has access to the different spells at different levels. So we've got Occult Sloga. So we've got Comet, Mage Masher, we've got a Dispel, and we've got a Quick as well. Presumably there are lots more advanced spells than that, as you can see, and there are actual Phantom actions. So think of this similar to your Lost actions, your Logos actions, where you're essentially setting up these abilities. You've got 5 of these slots, and presumably you can, you know, maybe this unlocks more at you know, a higher level, and we can change these similar to how you would tailor things for specific boss fights or for doing Baldessian Arsenal, right? And of course over here we have our EXP and of course our collectible pieces of both silver and gold. If I remember correctly, the gold ones are used for a different kind of activity than the silver ones, and I think the silver ones are the more common ones, obviously, and there'll be vendors where you can purchase a myriad of new things as well. Very exciting stuff, and of course we've got a brief example here of what's been unlocked in the background. But there is supposed to be a significant amount of Phantom jobs, and there's supposed to be more added in the future with the second part. This is the picture that will probably be dragged to the most, though. At least it was for me. These are Glamour Sets that you can unlock. As far as we know, this was shown off in sort of concept art during a live letter not long ago, where we were like, ooh, those look good. And they look amazing in the game. So these are the in-game renders, you know, on their test server or whatever they've done, their pre-production stage. And they look amazing. You might recognize some of these, of course, from old Final Fantasy games. But they're lovely. I love the details of these. And if they're fully dyeable with 2 dye palettes, and these are all separate pieces, which they appear to be, I'm very excited. You'll also notice the lack of, you know, hard decisions on helms here. Hopefully some of the pieces, other sets or whatever, other glamour sets or armor sets that might be in the content have more prominent helms, but this is obviously to do with Viera and Hrothgar to try and skirt around that issue and give us like tiaras and you know, face displays and things like that. But even so, the actual outfits themselves look absolutely beautiful. I love this. Kind of reminds me of a gambler's outfit, doesn't it? A little bit, and obviously Firion and etc. But yeah, this is beautiful, the one in the middle. Absolutely beautiful. It kind of reminds me of Vedanta gear, but yes, I need that gear and I need it now. Then we've got that's all the pictures for Shades Triangle, so that's enough for me to be like, to wet my whistle and to be like, wow, I need this content now. I'll be sure to do in-depth videos, guides, showcases, that kind of thing with, you know, the South Horn as it comes out next week, so stay tuned for those. In addition to that then, if we scroll down a bit, we will find none other. Oh yeah, there's also the Phantom weapons in 7.25. Just to reiterate, there is a new relic weapon associated with patch 7.25, where they did mention that there'll be inside activities in terms of going into the field instance to complete your tour, as well as also mentioning the choice of doing stuff outside of the content. So we'll have to see how much of that is balanced, considering how much Zadnor and Bosgia required you to actually engage with the content to complete your resistance weapons back in the day. We'll have to see what feedback they've taken on board and what direction. Very excited to start a new relic quest for combat roles. Very cool. In addition to that, in 7.25, we have a new Allied Society quest, which I believe is focused on crafting and gathering, right? As far as I remember, that's what they said. The Mamulja are obviously in Mamuk, in, in Yaktel, and yeah, there's some pictures here. It says the right of succession set Mamuk on a new path, one without the sacrifice of blessed siblings. Oh, don't remind me. Now in the depths of Yaktel, a new enterprise takes its first steps towards creating a place that any Mamulja would be proud to call home. So we've got our first initial pictures. We've seen this first picture before. I think that was used as a default with these variety of characters. I cannot remember their names if they've been shown before. I do like their armor though, and I think the Mamulja are interesting. We've got a Warrior of Light, obviously gathering here, and we've got another character that I forget the name of if they've been shown, and they're looking at the evil sparkle birds that I forget the name of as well. They're like weird shade creatures. They're quite cool. It'd be cool if we got this as a mount, though. I think we've said that about every monster they've added in Dawntrail and every other expansion, or at least I have. But that would be cool, like this shadow bird with this like luminescence. And we also have a nice little shot of the Allied Society area. And presumably there's going to be some kind of phasing and changing, similar to how we had with nearly all of the other recent Allied Society quests. We also have more of these like shade birds, as I'm going to call them incorrectly. And one thing I noticed here is I think that's another one of those birds. Yeah, is that a character riding one? Man, I can't see from this distance. Either way, I'm hoping that's going to be the mount. And that would be an epic finale to that. So definitely don't miss out on that on patch day on the 27th of this month. We are going to be able to do 2 sets of dailies in the first day. Make sure you get your dailies done before the reset of whatever time that might be. For me, it's 4 p.m. Of that same day. So that'll be the first thing that I do, and most people do. And yeah, very excited to get stuck into more Allied Society stuff because it always has lots of nice rewards. So if you're still, leveling up your gathering, at least as far as we can tell, you will be able to do some levels here. Additionally to that, and finally, we also have the inconceivably further Hilderbrand Adventures. It says, Nashu Makaraka has followed the trail of the missing Inspector Hilderbrand to the neon-lit metropolis of Solution 9, enlisting the aid of Detective Hardy-Boiled. Yes, you had to be there and watch the cutscenes. A man of eerily familiar appearance and resilience, the search for everyone's favorite agent of enquiry continues. And of course, we've got this picture of Nashu we've seen before with the egg, holding it there. It's a rather large egg, that is. I don't know how, if she's using this as a persuasion method or what, but egg. We also have a picture of Hilderbrand looking up. Yeah, they try to be very indirect with a lot of the screenshots for Hilderbrand, but for everything else in the game, they're like, here's a boss from Forked Tower. I find that always entertaining. It's the same with the trailers as well. The thing that never really gets spoiled is Hilderbrand. Very strange, but we're in this kind of room here with these nice tiles. Don't know where that is, somewhere in Solution 9. And then we have this amazing action shot to finish off today's video of Hilderbrand presumably jumping through the air. We've got a purple sort of background, some kind of etheric effect, and his hat has fallen off his head, and he's tilted his gun sideways, action combat style like the Matrix. This is probably a slow motion scene with him, being paused midair, looking very serious, looking down at the brim of his glasses like Neo or, John Wick, and he's ready to just unload a load of clips into somebody. Very different style for Hilderbrand, and a very welcome one. If you've done any of the other Hilderbrand adventures in Dawntrail so far, they have been short but quite sweet. The amount of attention to detail that they've put into the cutscenes and the storyline, even though it has been a very short, 1 or 2 quests, has been amazing. So this is the first real, hopefully lengthy storyline with Hilderbrand, and hopefully it has a good payoff, and hopefully some good rewards like we've had before in the past. But yeah, that's pretty much it for 7.25s on the special site. There are no other pictures. We still don't know where this airship is, by the way, where that's from. Presumably from Shades Triangle. So, we've got mounts, minions, glamour, phantom jobs, relic, weapon, the actual field instance itself, there's going to be lots of videos coming out from me looking at the entire plethora of content, and hopefully we can get this mount. That would be sick. It kind of reminds me of Bismarck, like weird future Bismarck. And yeah, I'm trying to think if there was anything else that we were shown that I don't remember where it was from, but yeah. And of course, if you want any of the pictures yourself, you can go to the media section and scroll down. And in theory, yeah, there they are. They've been added to the bottom. But highlights for me, obviously the Phantom jobs. Very much excited to take part in the new Shades Triangle field instance and to level up all the Phantom jobs, to experience the content. I'm a huge fan of Eureka. You might not be, but it looks like it's tilted more between the best bits of Eureka and some of the best bits of you know, the resistance stuff with Zadnor and Bosja, and hopefully it leans more towards the Eureka side because I prefer that, and I'm excited to work on the new Phantom jobs and the new relic weapons, right? But most of all, you know, at the end of the day, Glamour is the end game, and more of this, the better, and hopefully the weapons look good. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. More videos obviously on the way as we feature everything from Final Fantasy XIV that I can get my hands on. And of course, next week with the 27th is going to be a very big day, and we're going to be looking at quite a lot of the new content. Much love. Enjoy the rest of your week. Hopefully it's going well, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.